everybody, and welcome to the Onward VR Master League. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. I'm joined by my co-caster, TFH, with a swear word. How are you today, Todd?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, man?
I'm excellent. I'm looking forward to another high-tier matchup. It is certainly a underdog matchup, if you will. Globochem versus Blaze. I think a lot of the community consensus is that Globochem will be the victor out of this one, but if you're going to step out of your shell and do something surprising, now's the time to do it if you're Blaze, right?
Yeah, the Globochem have a 49 votes to their side, and Blaze have 6, so a little bit of a bias there if my math is correct, but who knows? We've seen it happen plenty of times in this season before. It can happen again. Will Blaze be one of the teams to put themselves on the board to say that they have beaten Globochem?
Certainly doesn't happen very often in the regular season. See if Blaze can muster something up today. They've had a bit of a rocky season in comparison to previous seasons. They're not currently guaranteed a slot in the round robin. They're right now ranked 10th, and so if they lose here, it's going to be pretty tough for them to climb back up into that top 7 slot. It'll probably bump them down to 12th or 13th, maybe even more considering how tight MMR is amongst basically ranks 1 through 12. So certainly a lot of speculation in terms of where they will go position-wise, but you know, a big loss here is not going to be good. If they can minimize damage, if they can get a win, I mean, they're contending for a top 7 position if they can beat Globochem right now.
Yeah, the MMR boost that will come from beating Globochem will be incredible. Globochem currently right now, I believe
they're pretty far away from anybody else in terms of MMR.
Yeah, and the way that MMR works is that it also incorporates, you know, the team who you're going against, and if the opponent's team MMR is higher and you beat them, you get a serious boost. So this is Blaze's time to easily shoot their way back up onto that top 7 like you were talking about before.
Absolutely. We will dive into pick bans as both squads seem to be readying up for the action. Coming in from Globochem, we have a Suburbia ban. Coming in from Blaze, we have Tanker. So 2 close quarters maps off the table.
Yeah, and we see Globochem use Tanker a lot more, so I'm not really surprised about the ban coming from Blaze on that front. We also see Globochem banning Suburbia a lot, and they don't really play it that much. They like to stick to their quarantine, their downfall. I'm pretty sure they even rather play Snow Peak, and that's what they're putting on the table for this matchup.
I'm curious, Globochem have lost 1 match this season, and I wonder if that loss was on Suburbia against G-Man. I'm going to dig into the match history here. No, they didn't even play it there, but I don't know. I was kind of going that thread because I know G-Man have been playing a lot of Suburbia as of late, and it wouldn't have surprised me if that kind of put a sour taste in their mouth at the start of the season. But yeah, probably just not something that they feel comfortable executing on. You know, they have had some new additions to their roster with Beep Boop Bop and Mike Crook coming in this season and doing very well for the Globochem squad, fitting right in amongst Thunder, Mixologist, and Otto. But it's curious ban, and you know, as long as they keep banning it, they won't be playing any teams on it. So makes sense there. We are still sticking to close quarters action despite both bans being close quarters maps. Map number 1 is going to be Subway. And this is Blaze's pick, so maybe they're trying to, I don't know, overwhelm with C4 and effective coordination. It's going to be a tall order against Globo.
Yeah, the utility will definitely have to come out, especially on this upstairs objective, which we will be starting out on. It's pretty open. There's plenty of places for the defense to hide, and using that utility like frags, smokes, flashes, they always seem to result in assisting and caps. So I would not be surprised if we see plenty of that in round 1.
No more waiting around either. Round 1 is underway. Globochem versus Blaze, rank 1 versus rank 10. quite a big matchup right now for this Blaze squad, and really just another day at the office for Globochem. All they got to do is keep up their winning. And are we missing someone here? I'm not seeing a 5th loading in for Globo right now.
Ooh, that is not good. They got to recognize it. Otto's calling for the reset. No, they're going to play it. They're going to play it.
Wow, they did
Otto
not.
took a look at the tablet.
Yeah, they did not recognize it fast enough. Blaze coming charging in on the mix here. All 5 pouring down the street. He does find one, evens the odds quickly into a 4v4.
Yeah, easily getting that first pick off the get-go is exactly what Globochem needed in this situation. They're already down a member due to a glitch. I'm not exactly sure which member it is, but that's not important right now.
I think it's
but
Beep Bop
Blaze
Boop,
are now running. I think it is Beep. But Blaze are only running a 4-man squad now as well. They have even the tides. Only thing that Globochem have going against them is that they've given away their positioning on one member's part.
Should be well aware of the push coming in from this side, but their defense still pretty spread out. No rotations over to this side of the map yet. They still have one up on north. Maybe they're waiting around for the flank, not really anticipating a 5-man press here in the south, but looking like Blaze are positioned pretty nicely as long as they can keep their coordination together, keep their teamwork up, and not get hit by any detrimental C4s. Should have a pretty easy entry onto the south side.
Yeah, now we got Cryo and Noman working their way up along that alleyway. Might be able to catch out, I think.
Oh, there it was. Cryo trades with Thunder. Otto quickly reacting to the res. Confirming Noman, he won't be able to get scooped up, and you know, a quick reaction from Prefontaine might have caught that rotation from Otto, but no movement there as they maybe felt trapped up on this south street, and now up to 0 and Prefontaine moving through the smokes to take out Mix, Mike, and everyone else on objective.
Yeah, and a 2v4 situation is not what Blaze want on round 1. It kind of sets the tone, sets the mood for the entire match, and even Globo with a down 1 man. This is not going well for Blaze so far.
Zero readjusted the smoke to deny Mix vision as he shifted over to this corner, so he has an angle here on the Mix if he decides to peek, but if he decides to push, Mix most likely has an easy C4 toss around the corner, maybe a nade. Curious what
Mix
his
has
approach is
already
going to
called
be.
him out. It's a trade. But Mix can get the res in if Prefontaine can't get there enough. But Pre will go for that confirm, but that'll be the end of him as Mike Crook's able to finish that one off. Globochem will go up the first point.
Interesting plays there on both, on I really Blaze's side. Mike going in for the confirm. You know, you hear those down comms when you're that close. I'm sure Mike heard, you know, him getting called out, and that should have been maybe an indicator that Globo was going to come in for that res. He had an opportunity to catch a pretty exposed, you know, rotation there, and that confirm really cost him because he had his sights there instead of on the opponent, and ultimately Globo inch out ahead. A interesting start for Globo, being down 1 and still coming out on top. It does look like they have their 5th back in the lobby, but that's kind of you want to talk about a slap in the face a little bit. Kicking off that first round with only 4 and still winning is I guess indicative of Globochem's skill.
Well, the good news is I don't think Blaze know what just happened to them until they watch this cast afterward.
True.
But
Yeah, their morale shouldn't be affected by it. Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't be, because they shouldn't have known. They probably just thought someone team killed or something. But regardless, the kill counts are going to be a little confusing on Blaze's side.
Curious to see how Globo approaches this objective. I'm interested in their offensive strategies. If it's going to be quick and ruthless, if they're going to be methodical and slow-paced about trying to pick off one Blaze at a time. And See how that shakes up as we hop into round 2.
It's going to be a north side spawn for the chem. It looks like that they're going to be a bit of a split. Not going to be a 5-man push going up the alleyway. Probably a wise decision because it's so commonly naded, C4, you name it.
I think it's probably going to be an underground push. Does look like Mike, Thunder, and Otto are working their way down there, and wouldn't be surprised if they ended up going to that back catwalk to try and make their approach. Does look like they're actually going to opt for south stairs with the 2 of them. They are still sending one underneath, and Otto will be engaging it with 0 pretty soon.
Yeah, Mike's able to call that one out. 0 tries to make a rotation across. Thunderpile's not able to get into position just in time. 0's in a much better spot to be able to rotate away and retreat back to cover or find help from other friends going against the shield and a buddy.
Yeah, just holding that stairwell angle. He's going to wait for Otto to approach up. Meanwhile, Thunder and Mike trying to deny Verds from peeking this street. You also have a south approach, and then one... Who is that way back there? In the back, I wonder.
Well, Otto was just able to find 0. I think coming out of the stairwell or something, but...
Underground, where they were this whole time.
Yeah. Oh, and now Mike sees Verds, calls for the get back. Oh, he called out a C4 as well. Oh, yeah. It's in an interesting spot. The C4 kind of stands out because it's levitating off the ground. Just the wonders of hitboxes on this map. Shots coming out.
Birds and Cryo trying to deal with the smoke that is out here. Thunder manages to push up into an interesting corner, takes out a C4 as it gets detonated. Birds looks for the push, and Thunder wins that trade. In the meantime, Otto, making his approach from the backside, will be challenging Noman shortly.
Thunderpound's using the most out of that smoke that he can get out. Allow Mike to get into a better position. The flash comes out. I think Mike is able to successfully block that. He's able to still be able to get into that fight using that side shield tactic coming out there. Oh, and Otto comes out of the basement, able to find Cryocell. Now Prefontaine has to divert his attention over to there, allowing for Mike Crook to maybe have a bit of an easier time moving up.
I'm really surprised Mike hasn't taken shots on him yet. Prefontaine does go for the peek in there. Mix actually takes the shots. Beep, bop, boop. And Otto make their entry into objective, and Globochem take up their Marsoc round 2-0.
Very good pushing from Globochem, kind of able to synchronize the attack on all 3 fronts, from Mixologist on the north side, Otto in the basement, and Mike and Thunderpilot on the south side. And it just plays... Their strategy relied on the rotation of being able to watch different angles at the same time, and that's really what Globochem capitalized on. They used that push at the same time, just waiting for them to make those crosses, and bam, Blaze is just gone in this round.
No shield from Blaze last round, but we did see it here be pretty effective for Globo, so I do wonder if maybe Blaze will consider opting for a shield as we move on to our next objective inside. It's certainly more the shield, a very viable tool on Subway. Helps you get through all sorts of different nooks and crannies, helps you deny C4s from exploding your entire team because you can catch them out before they get you, and certainly a helpful element when it comes to dealing with certain defensive angles. So I would be surprised if plays continue to not operate with a shield here on Subway, because you see it paid dividends for Globochem there.
Yeah, and Verts is such a skilled shield player. I'm almost surprised that he didn't use it straight off the get-go. But maybe he's just feeling more along that rifle side of the life, you know? Sometimes you just feel like, this is not my shield day. I'm just going to go in and be, you know, one of the boys. But not anymore. He will be bringing his shield this time.
Yeah, they need that utility, and Verds is going to be going underground, where I think that shield excels the most in terms of tight quarters, being able to block from forward-facing angles. You don't really have to worry too much about flanks. It is interesting that he's going alone, because the shield historically isn't a terribly fantastic killer. It's been utilized recently for recon and gathering information, but is going to be sent down alone downstairs while the rest of this team tries to make their entry in through the center catwalk and south.
Yeah, I saw one member of Globochem extend further into the tunnel. I'm wondering if he placed utility there, but oh, I do see it. Yeah, that's actually pretty cheeky. It's right behind trash can. That'd be a harder place for the shield to look, because when he's already past that point, he already has to worry about what's going on right in front of him, mainly Mike. And I've always said I personally don't like bringing the shield down here, because there's so many places where people can set up ambushes, especially solo. And this might exactly be the demise of Verds, and as I say, that is exactly what happens.
Certainly a good C4 placement there from Mike. You saw Verds checking all the angles except that one, essentially. And there's also a drop up top as they tried to come out from the center catwalk. So plays down to 3.
Yeah, this is not the momentum that Blaze was looking for right off the bat. They are just being ablated as they move on in, and they might not have that energy to be able to make it down into the basement with the movements that they've got going on right now on the top side.
They do have south control, and they have made it in, but a lot of Globochem angles are patiently waiting for them to push out just a bit further. You see Otto waiting for Prefontaine and Zero. Mike could rotate to the stairs and provide a challenge there, so it could beep bop boop, but he's not going to be doing that. They're going to be holding downstairs, and I think Mike's actually going to rotate over to Otto to reinforce, is what it's looking like.
Yeah, looks like Mike is definitely rotating to assist Otto. He's got 2 people to worry about. He's got Pre and Zero, both very capable players. Oh, Prefontaine just dodges some shots there from Otto. Now Otto's going for a very risky rotation. Mike broadcasts the shield now. That is the last situation that you want.
Yeah, that's a pretty great move from Mike. Thunder finding Cryo. Now it's all up to Zero as the last one alive inside train. He's looking for the shield. It's going to be tough to deal with in a 1v5 right now.
Zero to try to find a pick under the shield, but Mike's in a great spot for the shield. He can cover his whole body and still have full movement potential because his feet are already covered. And just the callouts is all that Thunder Pilot needs to be able to find Zero and get Globochem the 3rd point on Blaze's map pick.
You know, it's interesting because right now I feel like Globo really just sort of excelling on they're just winning. They're just beating the other players with shots and C4. We're not really seeing, you know, other than their attack on Marsoc, I suppose, an intentionally, like, terribly coordinated effort. It's really just individuals winning their fights, and I feel like it's got to be kind of hard to assess how to go up against Globochem even when you have footage like this. You know, because if you do try and base plays off of the Globochem that you're seeing here, I don't know if it's going to be indicative of what they'll bring it to the table when it comes time for the, you know, the round robin tournament and so on. And so I anticipate a much more I don't know. Tight.
Yeah, Blaze has gone.
Globochem.
Yeah, I think Globochem have definitely, given the situation that they've had to kind of gut their old team and then put in a new one, they're doing extremely well given that kind of circumstance of being able to reestablish that vibe that they've always had going for them, and rolling with it into the end of season. I know that their start was a little bit rockier, but they seem to have gotten themselves some really good pickups that are definitely helping them out. Blaze, on the other hand, have kind of gone through something similar. They've had a couple change-ups, in this season and previous season. It seems like they're still having a bit of trouble getting that vibe down, getting that full communication going on, maybe understanding the strategy that they want to go about. But who knows? Maybe that will change by wildcard.
Yeah, like we said here, a loss for Blaze against it's a tough second to last week matchup, right? As ranked 10 to be paired against Globo, the odds with how well they're playing are that you're not going to take a W away from them, and it's going to put them into a pretty aggressive. They're going to have to be pretty aggressive when it comes next week. They're going to have to find a challenge, which will be probably pretty tough to do. They're going to have to win at least 2 games to be a contender in that top 7. Otherwise, we got a pretty crazy wild card packed with some very skilled teams because the top 10 has been constantly shifting this season.
Yeah, and I think it also is the fact that the competitive scene is kind of condensing on each other. We're seeing a lot of teams being more competitive with each other. Noman's able to find Beat Bop straight off the bat. This is the first time Blaze, I think, has had a man advantage ever since round 1. But that condensation of the teams skill-wise is definitely showing now. We're seeing a much more competitive Season 9 than we saw, like, say, in Season 4. And it's just going to be super exciting. We might need a bigger bracket. Cryo is taking some pot shots at some Globochem positions, but he's not able to make them connect. Wow, those minutia positions are what really carry through on this map.
I don't know what minutia means, but Mike Cook has taken a lot of fire to his shield. Thunder scoops up Noman, evening the odds just a bit, so that takes care of their stair protection, which will open up a couple of defender angles being hit from the back, so Thunder is certainly in a dangerous spot on the stairs here. Cryo is probably going to be his first target.
Yeah, he does have the support of the rest of his teammates, mainly Mike and Mix, but he's really depending on them to call out exactly where Cryocell is so he can make a very swift approach, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's able to find that one.
Nice pickup there. Meanwhile, Mike charging into Zero's position. Very aware that there's one tucked in this corner. The shield provides him the safety he needs, and counter to what I was saying earlier, Mike finds himself a pretty clean kill on the south corner. Blaze now down to 2.
Yeah, and him and Thunder Pilot have linked up now, thus securing completely the south side. And they're discussing how many kills they have. They're saying 3, and that is absolutely correct. Just shows you how efficient the comms are on Globochem's side.
Yeah, hand me a smoke. I hold smoke. Okay.
Does look like a stairwell push is getting lined up here. Typically, you'll see C4 placed somewhere on these stairs. I don't think I've identified any of that yet, but 2 smokes down there. And not exactly the most ideal spread. That doesn't really matter as Mix finds Prefontaine on the opposite stairwell, turns it into a 1v3.
Yeah, and it's just Verts. He's pretty far. He's rotating back, but for a second there, I was wondering where all the defense was. And Globochem opted. They were saying what I was saying before. That basement push is just not what you want to do when you're on the shield, and Mike's demonstrating that perfectly right now. He's already on objective, but he's choosing to go for the kill instead. He was was not expecting the push from Birds. Thunderpilot gets the trade on the refrag, and Globochem will get a pretty clean map 1.
Bird's almost able to scrape one up there for the Blaze team, but Globo certainly coming in here with Globo style. 4-1, 4-1, 8-0. Really impressive score lines for that Globo squad.
And now we're going to a Globochem map pick, unless, of course, that they choose to just give up the pick instead. But we're going to go into Quarantine, which to me sounds like a Globo pick.
It does look like that. I know Globo's been favoring Downfall a little bit as sort of their kill, the map to finish off a series, but they're not going to have that option here since Blaze is home. So their one map choice today is going to be Quarantine, and wonder what the stats are historically here. Quarantine does look like they have a 90% win rate, which is insane. Played 10 games and won 9 of them.
Yeah, it's definitely a number that favors the Chem.
I don't know if there's a higher win rate on a map than that. Well, I guess Suburbia Knight's 100% for Blaze. They've played 1 and won 1. But to see that high of a win percentage on that many games and rounds played, that's pretty insane. That's it's a very impressive scoreline to have on this map, and it's clear why Globochem have picked it here, because obviously they feel comfortable, and I just don't, with the momentum on Globochem's side right now, Blaze kicking it off on defense, they just need to stay tucked in and not allow early picks. Obviously, it's the key to success to any real win is to find that first pick or two, but I think that's what's been the true downside of Blaze. And even when they found that first pick, they were still unable to put a round on the board.
Yeah, Globochem have been really good about managing their momentum. Like you said, even after Blaze seemed to have the advantage, Globochem just seemed to come in full force and work down Blaze to the point where they can manage it. And I think Globochem is more of like a mid-game kind of team. They like to really spawn their tactics in the middle of the game, not at the very last minute like we see some teams do, but they definitely like to keep it a little bit shorter than some, and it seems to work out really well for them.
Their pace certainly has evolved over the course of seasons, and I do agree. They tend to push right around that 2:33-minute mark. So it seems at least, and honestly, that's pretty fast in this league, at least this season, in my opinion, to be applying pressure as Marsoc with 3 minutes left. Usually we see a much more slower play style be the successful one, but see if Globo opts to go slow or fast. They have a pretty tough spawn to deal with, and they're going to run into Verds first here on the north if they decide to push out.
Yeah, it looks like there's going to be a couple members, or at least one member going that way. That's mixed, but I think even then, he's even thinking otherwise.
Yeah. It's odd that we've seen so many teams opt to try and cross here out of this spawn, because Verd's position is so common. Usually if you try and cross out around that corner, you're dead. If you don't do it with smokes, at the very least, you're not going to have any chance of crossing. I do think they might be prepping some smokes here to cross.
Yeah, and they got one member who I think can successfully try to make that cross across. It's Mike Crook, and he has probably one of the steadiest arms in Onward. He almost gets picked off himself, but is luckily able to dodge out of the way just in time.
Let him shoot at that smoke for a little bit.
I gotta wonder if that was timed, because Mike peeked out, took one shot, and as soon as he did, the smoke was deployed and covered his retreat. Now that one smoke is able to get Mike across. He can then reinforce and help his fellow teammate get over here with a little suppressive fire. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, and Beep Boop is doing the Animal House cross, as I affectionately like to call it, where he holds on to the smoke, waves it around, so you can never get a pinpoint position on where he is on that cross, but it does help facilitate it. Yeah, Mike is kind of scanning around. Verds peeks out and might be able to see Mike, but I think Mike had that beat on first. Verd just realized it. He's peeking out now, and wow, with the one shot, and Mike's able to take down Verds.
You have a grenade launcher out of?
Really nice shot there. Nice use of that 12 times in the silencer. Noman not really certain where he lost Verds to, and saw a ton of suppressive fire from him on this north side just to try and keep people down. He is now aware that they're into a 4v5, and true to the majority of this game, Blaze is at a disadvantage.
Yeah, Noman was taking a couple pot shots at Mike and beep, but it looks like he's not really watching that angle now that he doesn't have the support from Verds anymore. He's more focused on rotating back to the objective and going back to where his team's strong suit is rather than trying to be a one-man hero. I don't know, he's still peeking it.
If he goes up anymore, that is going to get exploded by a sniper rifle.
Yeah, that laser is right there. Oh, and Mike is just 2 shots on that one, but still impressive to say the least. Able to find Noman. 2 members of Blaze already down on the north side. There is a definite weakness up there. It's probably the way that Globochem is going to want to opt to charge right now.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to lose north with this OBJ. Now that Otto's picked off another on the south, Globochem with 2:30 left is looking to start to approach OBJ from all angles. You got one over in ambulance who has eyes on burning. You're about to get rooftop control with Mike Crook. Going to get west control with Beat Bop, and it's going to be real hard for Prefontaine on OBJ to defend off so many attackers.
Yeah, you've already got Otto and Thunder, the 2 brothers, moving in on the south side. They're going to apply some pre-pressure, probably get the attention of Blaze going right off the bat, and then allow for Mike and crew to maybe swoop their way on in. He finds Prefontaine. Cryocell gets that refrag. The first member of Globochem to go down. Cryo takes another couple shots coming from Otto as he rotates north. And Mix is going to be able to get that pick, and that'll be it for Blaze on round 1.
Couldn't ask for a better start if you're Globochem, kicking off your round with a Marsoc W, your map pick. You've won map 1 4-0. Just really continuing to pile on here. And this is, I think, right now, worst case for Blaze. The fact that they haven't been able to get on the board is the last thing they want, because a hard loss to Globo is only going to result in more, notches down that ranking ladder. So, if they lose all 3 maps 4-0, I could see him bumping down to 13th, maybe even lower.
Yeah, this is not a great situation for Blaze to be in. They've already shed so much MMR for where they should be, and this match is definitely not going to help. It makes you wonder why they were in 10th place and got matched with the first place team worldwide. But
it's probably because they were up in that they're up in that higher ranking position a bit earlier, and have lost games since, been dumped down, and before the matchmaking was able to compensate for their MMR loss, they got paired up this week. But yeah, it's like I said, I guess you'd rather have this game now than the last week of the season, right? Because then you have no hope of being able to bounce back. At the very least, if Blaze do lose this, they have another week of games to try and rally. It's not going to be easy by any means. I think it's going to take at least 2 wins against some very skilled teams to get them to contend in that top 7 spot. But next week's going to be insane. I said it in the league Discord. It's going to be so wild to watch the leaderboards adjust over the course of next week, because MMR separation is so small between ranks 3 through 13.
yeah, it's a massive brawl out right now, because 3 through 13 is exactly the areas that you want to be in the upper end of those if you want to get into those closed finals. But if not, you're going to have to slug it out in the open finals, and anything can happen there.
Wild card and round robin, Todd.
Wild card, yeah. Auto on the pre-fire. Looks like that Blaze is going to use a very similar smoke tactic to try to escape himself from the north side, maybe emulate Globochem a little bit. Mixologist will be able to get himself a nice little double on Zero and Prefontaine. Zero will be able to get revive, but not anymore, as he's able to find that pick. Otto is still creating a lead wall that Blaze just don't know how to get by.
Yeah, they're really trapped. This is a super aggressive defense. Mike peeking up over this north rooftop here, completely unconcerned about any sniping shots. If anything, he's going to challenge the sniper that goes to kill him, and it's going to be so hard for this Blaze team to move up. They can't really opt to go in through the center. They have to rotate up in the north. They now have two invested in the far north, and Verd's really the only one that can play spoiler to some of these defensive angles right now.
Yeah, Verts can definitely try to get a pick on an Auto, especially if Auto's being pressured by the north side, but Thunderpile is going to shut that down immediately. Now the focus goes to the far north side as two members of Blaze try to make their push. It's Noman and Cryocell. I've known Noman to have a steady hand on those sniper rifles before, but whether he's doing it in this game, I'm not exactly sure. Bit of smoke going out there, try to cover another rotation. Letting it bake a little bit, kind of get that full floofiness out of it.
Problem is that LMG has a clip that lasts longer than that smoke, so all they have to do is keep putting out the suppressive fire, and Blaze are just going to have to roll the dice when they cross. Snowman does get through.
And now he's in a good spot to be able to try to take on Thunder and then Auto. But the question is, does he want to peek? He's got three members to worry about. Looks like no one's going to try to take some shots onto Auto. But Auto ducks back just in time to dodge that. Thunderpilot sees that he doesn't aim properly right at the get-go, but he's able to find it in the end. Now it's all up to one member, but he goes down as well as Crowd tries to get that refrag. Globochem will go up a second point on map 2.
On pace for a pretty dang fast series here. 4-0 map 1, now 2-0, and I'm sure Globo have a cap on their mind to secure this second map and the series. 1 kill on the board for Blaze on Quarantine, and I think at this point Blaze are probably just biting the bullet, really.
Damage control.
Yeah, they understand what they're up against, and just looks like right now they're just trying to get 2 kills would be an accomplishment.
Yeah, we've only had 1 kill this entire round, and that came from Cryocell, and that was a trade. So, Blaze definitely don't know what Globochem are doing. I have a feeling Globochem have shifted their tactics up a little bit since like Blaze may have like watched the VODs from previous games and kind of are relying on that to be like, okay, they're going to be here. But the thing about Globochem is they don't stay in one spot. They are very aggressive, and they will rotate around you before you can call them out.
To my point earlier, they could be looking at VODs of Globochem not playing with plays. You know, I would be willing to guess that in some of these wins here, Globochem is just sort of, all right, let's just get out there and go for some kills. You know, we have some spots that are good, sure, but everyone has those spots. You know, everyone takes north defense like that. We saw it equally the same with Blaze and Globo. Just a matter of how you push out, and I don't know. I feel like Globo are really they've really clicked the last couple of weeks of this season. And like you said, they're off to a rough start. They've had some close games, but since then, this team has just been so hard to go up against. I don't know how people are going to compete against Globo when it comes time for the round robin, semis, and finals.
Yeah, they definitely shifted their game to the recruiting game and got some really strong players on their side. They got Beat, they got Mike, and they got Izzy.
Yeah.
I think those are really good players to kind of fill the holes that were left by Toast, Pants, and Arsenic. Because you got an all-around player from Beep, you got a wild card player coming from Izzy that replaces Pants, and you got obviously Mike replacing Arsenic.
Yeah.
Because he could snipe, and that really keeps those old Globochem tactics intact.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Very good point. They have very strategically put together their team for this season after their roster shakeups, and clearly they picked the right people because they are looking real strong right now.
Yeah, if anyone can pull off a single shot sniper kill, it's definitely Mike. And Izzy's not the most predictable in league games, so I think this will definitely work out very well. And speaking of one-shot sniper kills, Nelman on the receiving end of that. Look at his name on it.
North push coming in, similar to last round. Smokes are out. This time, Blaze does have the LMG to put some suppressive fire into the smoke. I think that's putting a little concern into the minds of Globo as they try and cross through here, but they do get across. 2 smokes invested, 2 get across in the north. Meanwhile, South control is given up. Thunderpilot takes control of Tank and Tank Courtyard. Mike snipes another from Sand Dunes in the south, and Blaze are down to 2.
Still got West
Yeah,
Roof.
Mike's just been really crucial in this game so far. He's sighting Verds, but he never takes a shot because Verds is just a little
He's
too
gonna go
unpredictable
res,
on
West
those
Roof ran
moves.
the White Car Trench.
Cryo gets that res on,
up.
but Mike's looking for more blood.
Lasered in over to this side.
Bit of an M203 there. I think only one is allowed per team, per round.
Hmm.
And now Verds and Cryo are rotating back to reinforce the objective, since I think they realize that their south side is pretty much kaput.
Zero, the only one here to defend from a potential cap, from a map going into the hands of Globo, so I do think that rotation is in order. And now Thunder has smokes out in the center. He's going to start his push. Nade comes in, Zero should be safe.
Yeah, the nade was just a little too off. I think Thunder had the right idea where Zero was, but he just didn't execute it properly. He's going to use that smoke to kind of roll on his approach there. Zero won't be able to have a place to pinpoint. He could toss utility in there and maybe be able to take that out. It looks like he's going to try to do that. No, he's radioing. But I think Thunder can hear that. Ooh, underneath the car is where he will be shot. Thunderpilot goes down to Verds. Zero will confirm. Globochem, it's like the second kill for Globochem. Mix finds Cryocell. I'm sorry, it's the second kill for Blaze. Beep will find Verds. Now it's all up to Zero once again. He's going to have a tall order as Otto makes his way on in. He finds that, and Globochem will go up 3-0.
They have managed to get 2 kills. But that is all Blaze have to their name right now in this quarantine matchup. It's, yeah, this is... Oh, I mean, what a performance for for Globo right now. They got to be instilling fear in any team that's in the top 10 right now, because they are shutting down Blaze, who's ranked 10th. They've beaten... I don't know. I'm sure they're on a win streak of 4 or 5 at least. Probably more. No, they only lost 1, right?
Yeah, they only lost one. Globochem only lost 1 game. That was
The
really
second
early
game in
on
the season,
season.
yeah.
Yeah.
They've been on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 game win streak. Most of those games have been cast. All these teams have footage to review, and it doesn't help them a single bit. Globo still comes in and dominates.
Yeah, it's the fact that Globochem is like really mobile. It's the part that you can look at any video for and you really can't counter for, because if they've got like 3 positions that are pretty close to each other that they'll rotate around to, it's hard to pinpoint exactly where they're going to be. So it really throws strategy out the window.
And you're dealing with such incredible shooters. These guys are so good at the game that they just hit their shots. So if you don't check the right angle and they're at the other one, then you're dead. Because you're not aiming at them, you're not taking shots. So You know, curious how. I think beginners are also kind of in a similar boat this season themselves. They've lost very few games. Only recently to Globo in the Button Cup. And I think that might. Yeah, they're in a very similar boat. They've only had 2 losses the regular season, and those were early on. And they had another loss to Globo in the middle of the season with the Button Cup, and since then, they have been on a winning streak. They did just recently beat VRAth, and I'm not sure what their scoreline against Boss Fight was, but I'm very curious in that game as well, because these two going at it should be really exciting.
Yeah, a lot of exciting matches coming up.
Oh, yeah.
This week. I know it's coming to an end here. It's Sunday, right?
Yeah.
But plenty to be excited for next week.
Next week, and then all of May is just going to... May is going to be the best Onward we've had, hands down.
Oh, yeah. I am pretty excited for that. Bit of drone action coming out from Blaze. Not really sure who that operator is. But maybe this is what Blaze need, is just information. Maybe that's just what they were lacking.
Globochem does do a good job of staying tucked in until they find that pick, and then maybe some rotations will start to come out. And I think that is what makes them a tough opponent to go up against. They've really locked in good defensive strats. Don't lose a lot of trades, and those combined just make it so hard to challenge. Verds is getting aggressive. He has managed to sneak through a couple of defensive angles here.
Yeah, he's right on that objective. I think Otto is aware. Maybe not. No, he is. Yep, Otto's able to find Verds as Verds tried to force the angle to happen, but Mike Crook's able to find 0. Prefontaine tries to go for that refrag, but Mike's just so well tucked in. It's hard to do that when you don't have a sniper.
I think their sniper is over on the south looking for angles and hasn't found any, but as soon as 1 went down, 2 went down. Globo peek out after that first kill and find themselves another, and Blaze down to 3. Yeah, Noman is on that south dune looking for some sniper shots.
Looks like he sees Mike, but Mike's now just tucked in. And he's in a good little spot where he can monitor that south side where Blaze, or that west side. No, I'm sorry, east side where Blaze came from. Direction's hard.
Great soggy waffles.
Yeah. That Cryocell's getting pretty close to beep. And you have to wonder, like, what the exact radius for sound is, because he was just running up there. I'm pretty sure Beep has an idea where Cryocell is. And
you know, earlier Otto calmed in. I'm surprised Verds didn't hear it or wasn't more ready for someone to be inside that rubble position. It seemed like he kind of got caught out by surprise. We didn't see any, you know, trading shots come in towards Otto there. So, yeah, I am wondering if these guys are really dialed into the audio cues, or maybe someone's communicating too much, making it hard to hear. There's all sorts of factors that get brought in here. As Cryo does inch his way up, it does sound like Beep heard those crawling footsteps and gonna give himself an easy kill.
A very easy little pick. Cryo was just not... it wasn't even in his mindset to even try to check that before trying to check roof.
I think Nolan was Overwatch there too. Does find the refrag.
1 dead at ambulance.
3rd kill of the day. Almost goes down. The shots from the roof, and we're getting to a bit of a sniper trade.
Yeah, it's Noman versus Mike, and I think Mike...
Sniper battle!
His shot says it all.
I think he killed Noman on his
say
last
what
bullet
happened.
too, so... No, you don't. Mike said sniper battle for you.
Yeah.
He was aware of what he was into, and now Prefontaine trying to work his way up to the same angle that Verds found some success with, and honestly, pretty smart approach. He might be able to challenge Otto, but then he's going to have to deal with a bunch of rotating Globo.
And if Mike pushes up a little bit, he'll have a perfect view onto Prefontaine. He's just in such an exposed position, and I'd imagine that the call-out was that there was a sniper on the roof before Noman started firing back, but I would not have rotated there if you know that someone is monitoring that roof. couple shots go out. I think Mike Rook knows exactly what's going on. He rotates. He's going to have a perfect viewpoint onto what's going on objective. No, he doesn't. He has no idea.
Oh!
Now Prefont. Oh, no, and Otto has downed himself, and he's in a very hard place to get that res in. I don't think it's going to happen. Not with Prefontaine right there.
In a good spot. He can push up to this plane, have a back angle. He's got two pretty spread out Globochem defenders. He finds Mike on the roof, and now he has to move. He's got to worry about this Thunder Pilot flank quickly getting into position here, and it's going to have an angle onto him now.
Oh, yeah, there's something that he could really done about that. Globochem will take map 2 and the game. Third map, obviously, played for MMR, but man, this has just been dominance. Globochem.
KD's really pressing the final result here. 6-1, 4-1, 3-0, 4-1. Very impressive score lines across the board for Globochem. Each player finding kills, finding picks, making it an easier road for victory. And, you know, to go into map 3, I'm curious, maybe a cargo just to get it done with quick. But I wonder if Blaze might go to a downfall somewhere that they can kind of try and draw it out a little bit and have some hope at winning. I don't think you want to pick range against this Globochem team. Mike's doing fantastic with the sniper.
Oh, yeah, no. I think it's not only Mike that can snipe, too. I think Beat can snipe as well. So it's like, if you go to downfall, you got to worry about 2. And that's no bueno, amigo.
Oh, we're just getting news now. Vikings, a better scoreline than beginners this season. 12-1 for them. They're oh, and I do stand corrected. Vikings actually recently beat beginners just a couple weeks ago. So they did face another loss on top of Globo. So we could be seeing a shift up in power on the EU side of things. Vikings, yeah, they have. When was their loss? It also might have been early in the season.
I think I casted that.
Have they? When did they lose? Oh, they lost to Pacifists. Yep, very early. Back when we had the young chatting parrot. Yeah, I suppose, and since then they've beat Dead Logic, Beginners, Boss Fight, Silent Purge, I mean everyone, including G-Men in the Button Cup matchup. They have also been looking like a pretty dang... I mean, yeah, dude, it's going to be... The wild card's going to be wild because we have very skilled teams.
It's in the name.
We have very skilled teams that are going to be down there that we don't normally see in the wild card, but round robin's going to be nuts too because all of these teams in the top 7 have been playing out of their minds this season. They've been doing so well. They've been looking so coordinated. They have plays. They have the shots. It's just such a high level of competition for them to all be duking it out against each other. It's going to be so fun to watch and to be a part of. I can't wait.
No, me neither. It's going to be amazing on our end to bring that action to y'all, lovely viewers.
We get to bring a little more action to you right now. The final map of this Globochem Blaze matchup. Blaze picking into Bazaar and then kicking it off with a Coyote spawn.
Yeah, this is an interesting objective to start off with. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare for Blaze because it is so challenging to defend. There's plenty of cover around, but there's also plenty of spots to cap from, and that's where the manpower really gets drawn to. And so it really becomes an equation of how do you manage your manpower to both be able to set up a decent defense and be able to monitor and make sure no one has snuck in on the objective.
This looks like Blaze are doing a pretty spread defense for this Coyote OBJ. They've left the center Bazaar pretty open to push and aggression. They can't easily rotate and defend that if they have to. Zero and Noman can both get angles as well as Verz, but you know, the proper smokes, 1 or 2 picks, their defense gets pretty dang weak on objective. They have it pretty spread out. You see someone, I don't know who that is, way up in the northwest.
Yeah, I think Globochem's current tactic right now is to make sure that no one goes trying to flank them, trying to, keep the situation under lockdown, keep it under their control. And it looks like that Blaze are positioning for a flank to happen. And this would be the time to do it. You've already lost the match. You might as well try, some funky stuff and see what works, what doesn't. Maybe go right off of that into, the finals. Or at least into the final 2 weeks if you're able to pull it off. But overall, it's been a pretty quiet first round. Ooh, we get some close action going on the east side. Got Prefontaine and Thunderpilot. Pre is just watching that angle hard, and Thunder might be caught out here. I think it is too close for comfort. Oh yeah, he's able to force that angle now. Otto, I think it recognizes exactly what's going on. And Pre is launching a nade in the right direction, but a little too much power on that.
If Pre stays here, Otto's going to have an angle, and he pops up over the wall. Snags a nice pick there. That goes down. The East defense opens up entry there, and in the meanwhile, you have Zero and Verge trying to deal with Mike. Bebop up there.
Yeah, and Krausel's trying to rotate his way to get back to Otto, but yeah, like you're saying, there's a lot of manpower into putting Mike, and Zero's able to get a kill on that, but he gets immediately refragged by Beep Boop, and that res is going to be very tough.
He is in a decent spot to do callouts, though.
Yeah, it's a very good spot. This might be what Blaze need, is just someone who's ghosting to be able to call out what is going on.
Otto's still working his way over on the east side.
He's able to find Cryocell earlier, and that kind of secures his approach. Now there's only really 2 members of Blaze left mobile.
Wow, how did Noman get up there and get that res? Bebop must have dropped off his angle from up top.
That is a pretty risky res, but nonetheless, that is exactly what Blaze needed. But now Noman's a little trapped right now. His aggression has kind of gotten him sequestered off as Otto has now closed the positioning. And Noman can't really rotate easily back onto objective, and no, Otto's going to guarantee that he will be able to get back onto objective. Mixologist finds Verse, and now it is all up to Zero, who is pretty far off of the objective. Otto is rotating around. He looks like he's going to go for an approach there straight out. Zero will be able to see that one, but Otto, ooh, he's able to find Otto. Now Zero's running his way back. The gap is closing for Globochem to try to find their way in, and Bop will shut that down. Globochem go up the first point.
To Zero's credit, I think he was charging in there to check stairs. He wasn't sure he had found that kill. It could have smoked, gone inside, gone up the stairs, and be capping up on that second floor. So he had to get aggressive, but Globochem just positioned a little bit better, had a few more left alive, and snagged that round, keeping it undefeated so far with a total of 9 unanswered points.
Yeah, and the mentality at that point is, definitely get yourself killed at that point, especially if the enemy team is beginning to consolidate around the objective. It doesn't make sense trying to hold out a defense when all hope is beginning to be lost. So it was good effort on Zero to make sure that the round ended safely in a way that Blaze can easily recover from. But now Globochem are going to have to defend the same objective. It'd be interesting to see what they do instead. If I remember correctly, Blaze opted for a very spread out defense. Globochem also have been very aggressive on their defenses as well, and it's worked pretty well for them. But on a map like this, a spread out defense can actually cut you off, since there's many places where Marsoc can easily lodge themselves up and be able to monitor an angle that would normally be a rotation to get back to the objective. So maybe this is exactly what Blaze need to be able to get themselves at least 1 point on the board, maybe 2 if they're lucky. But regardless, I think this will definitely be Blaze's strongest objective because this will put the most pressure on Globochem. We're going to hop into the second round very shortly. Like we said before, Globochem is going to be on defense. It's interesting to see how they set up, what they're kind of anticipating out of Blaze. The setup really paints the picture for where their mindset is at.
I imagine it's probably pretty spread, and then from there it gets aggressive. You know, I would be surprised if they spread out and stayed tucked in, but see how this unfolds as Otto does take a stairwell position in Bazaar, and you do see over on your far west, Mike also getting into some interesting angles.
Yeah, Mike typically likes to set up a little ambush on his own where he hangs out. Oh, Otto immediately finds Verds, but Mike likes to set up a little ambush on those stairwells. Grassel's trying to look for that refrag, but he's not able to find it. Globochem is just too tucked in. He links up with Zero, trying to make a very daring push in. Zero gets taken down immediately. So does Cryo to mix. Now Blaze have already lost 3 members in the first minute.
I was watching the overhead thinking Thunder might go in for a flank on Noman here, but it might not even be necessary. It does come in just a touch late, so Thunder is converging from the backside here onto Noman. He's getting super aggressive, crosses the room. Doesn't even see Noman. Gets picked up there. I think he was so locked in on finding that pre-Fontaine kill confirm that he forgot about the one in the blue room. Now it is a 1v4.
Definitely is now after Mike got that little confirm in. Noman's able to find Mike Crook after he gave his position away. Noman now is rotating away because he knows that his position has just been given away and that Beep and crew are locked in on where he last fired. Looks like Noman's actually going to opt in for the south approach now. I'm sorry, that's the north side. Early C4 goes off. I think that was from Otto.
Does kind of indicate that they have an idea that there's someone over here on the east, though. That C4 detonating, maybe showing that they're a bit concerned that someone's pushing in from the east. Noman isn't quite there yet, though, so the C4 not effective. And regardless, Globo with their game sense still on point, somewhat aware of this rotation that Noman's on.
Yeah, Noman's just, he's got 3.5 minutes left. He's got plenty of time to work his way around, be able to find picks. Keep in mind, Blazers are still looking for their first point of the game. They've not snagged a single one. Matter of fact, it's gotten so bad, kills are hard to come by, and no one's got plenty of those, but the rest of the team are kind of struggling on that front.
.50 on the clock, so plenty of time for Noman to slowly work his way up along this north wall. This is his best line of approach here. No one's really watching North Street. You do have one angle there. Once he peeks out from the north wall, he could get shot, but can survive that, he's got a chance.
Yeah, I think they're very well aware of Noman's position. You
Yeah.
saw that nade was pointed exactly right. Just needed a little bit more juice, but it comes to show just how on point Globochem are and keeping tabs with what the situation is like.
Very smart predictions here, and we'll see if those stay focused here up in the north. Bebop drops off that wall angle. Mix doesn't stay dedicated here. It is going to be an opening for Noman to enter in from. It's interesting that they're so focused here instead of the front bazaar. I wonder what keyed them into Noman being here.
When the lining up happens, Deep's able to get the better of that one. Globochem keep the streak going.
Strong win, but I mean, Blaze have been doing better this round than they have the rest of the entire, the whole series. Finding more kills probably this round than they have the whole series. If I was guessing, I don't know what the KDs were like on Subway, but I think they only had 2 kills on Quarantine, so certainly doing a lot better here on Bazaar, but Lobo's still coming out on top.
Yeah, just no matter what Blaze try, it just doesn't seem to work. It's almost like they get too aggressive, and Globochem just capitalize on that immediately, and they're able to shut down any early push that Blaze throws at them. Maybe if they try to do a bit more like a Globochem kind of style tactic, where they just wait a little bit, try to find some picks first, try to open it up a little bit, they might have some better luck off that. We're going to move our objective over now to the ice cream truck, or the Humvee, whatever you like to call it. I'm not going to dictate that for you.
Although we should. I don't know why we don't have, the Onward devs haven't released official, names for this stuff. You see it in almost every other esport, where the maps actually have predetermined callouts. That makes it so much easier if you're a new player to get into the game, because you can actually look at your map and go, okay, I'm at B long. And even though you don't understand really where B long is, you know that's what it's called on the map. Maybe something that we can, a call to arms for our audience. We want default map callouts.
I think one of the joys of Onward, though, is that different teams have different kind of...
It wouldn't stop you from having different
nomenclatures.
callouts. You can call things whatever you want, but it would just be nice to have on the map set callouts for locations. You pull up your map, you see, oh, this place is literally labeled Short Bazaar or something.
Yeah, I know G-Man a very long time ago released their callouts, and that's kind of become the standard is the G-Man callout style. It may have changed up a little bit in time being, but Thunder actually with the shield. He's using the Animal House kind of style.
I don't know if that's Animal House, dude. I've seen that smoke from every team. Walking smokes
Animal
are...
House is the first time I saw it, so that's why I call it.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if that's accurate. I wouldn't attribute it to one team. It's certainly a universal meta at this point. Not good enough, though. People do go down behind the smokes and shield.
Yeah, this is exactly what Blaze need. They're getting some early picks. They can get that res on, and they'll be into a 4v5. And that is just such a good start for me to go off. Otto is able to find Kraus, so that evens it up, but Thunder goes down as well. And he gets confirmed before Otto can get in there with the syringe, but now we're into a 3v3.5. Blaze are certainly handling this a lot better. Otto picks up the shield before any refrag can come out from Prefontaine. Bit of a nade comes out. Will go a little wide. Really wide. Hands it over to Mike Crook. Honestly, a very wise decision there. Prefontaine does find Otto, and it's definite that Blaze are riding on the momentum now.
I think if you can win these trades, it throws Globochem off. You even saw Beep Boop look for a peek there on Prefontaine after he killed Otto and Thunder. I think they're so used to just challenging those shots and winning the trades that when the enemy wins the trades, it kind of throws off this Globochem dominance. We'll see if it's enough to prevent Mike and Beat Bop from making their entry in the south.
It's going out. Beep won't be able to make that connect though, but he does give away the position of him and Mike to the rest of Blaze. Blaze don't seem to be acting on this. They seem to be just holding the angles, which is exactly what they should be doing at this point. Their aggression has cost them before, and I think they've learned their lesson by now. No one's trying to force a peek though. Beep is able to find Zero in that shack. And now we're into a 2v2. There is one resable on Blaze, and that res will come out. No one's able to find Mike Crook, and now it is all up to Beep. This could be the first point on the board for Blaze. It's Globochem newest member, though. Can he prove himself as a worthy member? I think he already has, honestly, but...
Yeah, this 1v3 is very tough to win. Noman's got his angle dialed in here on the shins. As soon as Beep Boop peeks out that window, he'll be in trouble, but it doesn't look like he's going to go for it. Drop back and rotate out. I don't think he'll be ready for Noman up top here, though.
I don't think he's looking at... No, he's not. Noman will be able to find that. Blaze get their first point on the board on map 3.
Might be the start of a bit of a run back here from Blaze if they can take a few more rounds here on their map pick on Bazaar and just get a few more points on the board. It'll be a positive result for them, but it hasn't been consistently happening, as you can see on the scoreboard. Their first point, as Todd mentioned, getting picked up, and it took quite a while, about an hour and 22 minutes. Well, we don't count. Yeah, about an hour and 10.
Yeah. We've been going at this game for about...
Not been long.
About an hour.
It's been a very fast set, that's for sure.
Yeah, it has been. We usually I personally usually anticipate games to run around 3 hours at most. So it's always kind of refreshing to have an hour-long game. Allows you to get a couple things done. Move on to the next one.
Can certainly anticipate some long sessions next weekend, or the 2 weekends from now when it comes down to the wild card. We last for a good solid couple of hours as we bounce around all sorts of different teams playing against each other, and ideally we'll have Master Leagues 1, 2, and 3 open with games being broadcast, so you can pick and choose what you want to watch and where. That's a lot of Onward.
I'm excited for that, honestly. It's going to be a lot of fun being able to kind of have, like short bursts of every team that signs up for that, and you get a very wide diversity of plenty of talent that will go up against almost every other team.
I think you can create a fresh team for that, too, so we might see some old players that we haven't seen in a while. It would be interesting to see if Buxton makes an appearance, or Parzival, or any of those guys that have historically been around but not been playing. I know we did see them come out for one of the fun weekends that we had. The Custom Maps tournament, I believe.
Yeah, the Custom Maps tournament. Buxton, Mama Birds, Caltrop, and Rekka Kurakagi, former teammate of mine. And one other, I think Parzival was. Beatbom's able to find Noman. Birds is able to get that refrag, though. This is kind of the momentum that Blaze is looking for, being able to get these trades here and there. Cryocell is able to find Mike Crook, and Otto is able to get that refrag as well. This is getting really tight here. We're into a 3v3 with 1 minute into the match. More smokes appearing on the objective. Birds is working his way across. He's in the garage now. He can try to sneak his way across, but he's going to have a lot of flanking from that. A lot of flack from that. He's going to trade with Otto, though, so that's going to get shut down. We're now into a 2v2.5. That res come out. It looks like that Thunder Pilot's going to be on that. More smokes coming out, blocking that view. Now Zero's going to make an attempt at it. And he's going to...
Oh, gets saved.
Saved Zero. Zero's able to find one. He's able to find two, and Blaze will go tie it up on map 3.
you have time to switch off the scoreboard for that full round. It was so fast.
Oh well.
Done in about a minute, but solid job from Blaze. Tack on another round here, and you know, I don't know if they had the opportunity to do that earlier, but to come in with a different tempo clearly was enough to throw Globochem off there. I guess you've had 9-10 rounds of Globo winning and, you know, not really giving much of an opportunity for Blaze to put on a play like that, but it's good smokes, fast moves. It ends up catching some rotations from Globochem, and, you know, now Blaze are tied it up 2-2. They even had a potential to cap there. You know, I think Birds could have dipped in behind the smoke, or Zero, excuse me, could have dipped in behind the smoke and eventually punched in the code, but obviously, you know, taking any round is good against Globo, and you don't want to jeopardize that.
Yeah, being able to tie it up right now is much better than putting Globochem on match point. I think that was kind of going through Zero's mind, like he's pretty happy to cap, but I think he realized what the situation was, that he had an opportunity to just shut it down then and there instead of being greedy and, you know, potentially jeopardizing all the hard work that was put in by, you know, Birds and the rest of Blaze. He just immediately shut it down and was able to snag an easy point for Blaze.
See how round number 4 shakes up. 5 as we dive on in to the action. A quick spawn for Globochem might lead to some quick action.
Yeah, I think Globochem are really good at bringing the aggression too, especially on these quick spawns. So pretty guaranteed to see some of that hard push is coming out from Mix and Mike, but they're going to opt to go down a very indirect route. Well, Verz is going to immediately get caught out while he tries to push up as well. Now Blaze know that this is a quick spawn because Verz's sacrifice. A couple other shots coming out from Prefontaine as he engages one member of Globochem, Thunderpilot, very far back on that pylon, but the cover is a little exposed on both of their parts, but maybe Thunderpilot's just there trying to lock up Prefontaine, prevent him from really thinking about the objective.
He's on my BJ side.
See Mike here plugging up this window with the shield.
Yeah.
Offering Mix a little slice to peek out through and take shots if anyone goes up the stairs. Certainly a high-level teamwork strat here in effect, but not necessary. Drops off, and now Mix peeking some other important angles.
I think Mike is very aware of the fact that Prefontaine is beginning to move up, and so he knows that his position is not as safe as it was before. No one's able to find Beat Boop, but Otto gets that refrag. We're now down to a 4v3 with 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining.
That was a pretty aggressive position there to be taking up at scaffolding. Otto working his way through the east as Mix finds Prefontaine on the north. Blaze down to 2, and they got to stay tight on objective. Obviously not tight enough. Cryo able to find Mike as Mix finds Zero, and now Cryo's into a bit of a tight spot here.
It looks like we have a flanker from Globochem coming around trying to challenge Cryo off of objective. But Nix will be able to find Cryo. Globochem will get another point, and it'll be 3-2 now.
Very nice job from Globochem defense there. It was a good effort, or offense, excuse me. It was a good effort from Blaze. Got a few kills, found a few picks, but ultimately not enough. Otto and Mix really stepping off here. 7-2 and 8-3 right now.
Yeah, this is definitely a much better round for Blaze. They've been playing a lot more tightly. I think the communications have just kind of clicked now. They're able to counter Globochem much more effectively, but Globochem are just really good at their late game. They're able to maneuver themselves in a way that will really optimize how many people can be on monitoring a single member of Globochem at once, meaning that they're able to kind of pressure the objective all at the same time and create, you know, these mental equations for, you know, whoever's left on Blaze to have to solve, and that just doesn't work out in their favor. We are in match point. It's going to be the same objective. Blaze could have a quick spawn here, or a mirroring objective as we like to call it. It might be more optimal for them to have that quick spawn because they, at least according to this game here, they've performed a lot better off the quick spawns.
Round number 6. Globochem looking to secure the entire series, every map under their belt here. If they can get this next point, hold on to this next defensive round, they will take maps 1, 2, and 3 pretty commanding fashions. Really lock themselves in as the #1 team this season, and I don't know, maybe Vikings could contest that depending on how next week shakes out.
Yeah, Vikings have definitely been a very strong team, but what's also strong is the spawn. Blaze have the quick spawn, and they're already on each other. Mike Crook. Oh, Cryocell downs himself. Zero's just hiding from Mike Crook. They are next door neighbors. Mike's able to find Prefontaine. That will definitely give Zero a good idea what's going on. He's able to find that one pretty effectively. Oh, and now Verge has made his way into the objective. Beatboop will shut that down. But Noman is working his way up as well. He's able to find Beatboop. He's on objective. He could have gapped, but the kill had to come out. Blaze have tied it up.
The fast plays from Blaze pay off again, get themselves another Marsoc round on the board, and honestly, the aggressive pushing has been working for them. You gotta wonder if they had keyed in on this earlier, if they would have had a chance on Subway or Quarantine, but those maps don't really offer a lot of terribly fast play unless you get specific spawns.
Yeah, there's some spawns that do kind of lend toward that velocity philosophy, but Bazaar, I think, has more of those, and it has much more cover to lend itself to allow people to be able to push up more aggressively and take more advantageous spots both on Bulk and on Marsoc. So we get to see a lot more intimate plays coming out.
A lot of good, intense VRML action popping off today. The season finals for both leagues have been drawing in tons of attention. Love seeing that. If you are interested in our other leagues, you can head on over to VRMasterLeague.com. I do believe both games are up on the home page right now, but Echo Arena also winding their season down, only a few weeks left, and they've also had some pretty big shakeups in their top 10. I think in contrast to us, in contrast to Onward, Echo is taking their top 6 and then 2 from the wild card. So it would be interesting to see how that all shakes up. I believe that's also happening on the 2nd and 3rd, same dates for the Onward finals as well. So there'll be a lot of esports action next month for you guys to tune into, that's for sure. In fact, we still got a little bit of esports action left here. Final map, 3-3, 1 round to go. Winner of this takes the winner of map number 3. Granted, the series is already into the hands of Globo, but that hasn't stopped Blaze from putting a few points on the board to this final map.
Yeah, this could potentially be their map that they can snag out if they're able to hold out on defense against Globochem, but that is a tough challenge when you're going up against a top-ranked team worldwide. Mike's going to immediately trade off the bat. Mixologist will be there for his rescue as he's able to get that confirmation in.
We got one down.
Oh no, Verz and Noman both trying to cross in that smoke. They go down.
One down, there's one in the smoke.
Not able to cross as well as Globochem has, and Otto is able to find 0 in the first minute. Blaze have just been decimated.
The final round, Globochem decided to apply a little of Blaze's own medicine and go things a little bit faster as they snag that final round in very quick time. I wouldn't say record, but super quick. That'll be map 3 going into their hands.
Yeah, definitely a very very dominating effort coming out from Globochem. Let's slip a little bit on Bizarre, but maybe, I don't even know if that was their fault. Blaze really kicked it into gear.
Yeah.
And gave a Globochem a what for.
Yeah, I just don't. Maybe it's a little bit of, honestly, like a fear factor, being timid. Coming in up against a team like Globo, you don't feel confident that you can execute quick plays against them, but when it comes down to it, playing aggressively seemed to pay off the best for Blaze. Out of any of the other playstyles they tried against this Globo squad, they were able to actually secure a few rounds and nearly take map 3, so a nice adjustment there, finally, from Blaze on that third map, but ultimately not enough. Globo coming in strong as usual, taking the full series 12-3, so they're locked in up there at number 1. Love to see a button cup matchup against Vikings and Globo, but maybe we'll get that when it comes time for round robin in the finals.
Yeah. That would be very interesting to see the Vikings Globo match, because they're just two very dominant teams on two opposite sides of the pond, but we'll have to wait to see if that comes up either next week or in those finals that we keep hyping up for good reason, because they are going to be amazing.
I would be shocked if Globo accepted the challenge from Vikings next week, but we'll definitely see it, you know, in the, I think it's 16th and 17th is when the round robin is slotted to go on, so put that down in your calendars. I think it's ranks 1, 3, 5, and 7 are day 1, and 2, 4, 6, and the wildcard finalists are day 2, so keep that in mind. But I guess we won't see it then. Well, it depends depends on what rank Vikings are when it comes down to it. Like I said, next week's going to be crazy. We're going to keep a close eye on a ton of matches, because there's going to be a lot of shifting in terms of who's where on that overall scoreboard. So make sure to tune in. I think we have more action here in just a few hours, so if you do want to catch another Onward game, make sure to tune in then. Also, I think we'll be dropping the host onto the Echo Arena side of things, so after this, we'll be dropping you guys off over onto some Echo Arena games. Do appreciate you all hanging out. Quick shout out to all of our sponsors: VR Cover, Pro2 VR, Fixed Gaming, and Rebuff Reality, all contributing to prizes for our finalists. Should be Fixed is our music, but yeah, there's gonna be some new prizes.
Prizes to us.
Yeah, I suppose, and to your ears. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to see these teams competing for a little extra action. I'm looking forward to it, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot to look forward to in this next upcoming month of VRML. We've never seen the brackets look so competitive before, but this is what's happening, and I could not be happier.
That'll be it for us this afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's, my co-caster TFH with 1 singular swear word. We will see you all later tonight for more VRML action.